This here in just a second. Starbucks leading a charge to hire thousands of people shut out of the job market. Why isn't corporate America doing enough? Bill George, a Harvard Business School professor and former Medtronic chairman and CEO, joins us, as well as Marcus Lemonis, host of CNBC's The Process. And you guys are going to be with us all during these next 2 hours.
I'm going to hang out with you.
Let's talk a little bit about what Starbucks has decided to do to come in and try and bootstrap young men and women, many of them disadvantaged, underskilled, who are neither in school nor working. There's a lot of them, and there's a real gap here. Is this something that more companies ought to do, or that the government ought to get behind in some major way, Marcus?
Well, I'm not in favor of the government getting behind it. I'm in favor of companies deciding on their own that they want to have an initiative to employ people in a category that maybe don't have the same opportunity. But I still want them to be qualified. And so this isn't an effort or initiative to just have a handout.
Right.
I want to be real clear about that.
And this is, in part, apprenticeships and training programs so that the individuals get the kinds of skills that can make them employable in a Starbucks location.
Yeah, Tyler, that's exactly what this country needs. This is a very difficult group. A lot of these people have not worked for the last 10 years. If you look at the unemployment stats, they're like 4 times, 5 times what they are for the rest of the population. And I think we ought to be talking to young people at age 13, 14 when they're making a decision. What do you really want to do? Maybe you don't want to go. Maybe you don't want to go into math and science and English, but maybe you do have skills in your hands. And I think companies need it. I'm so pleased, though, that Howard's aligned. He's got Walmart. He's got Target, Macy's, Microsoft. He's got some pretty important big employers that can really make a difference. And I think...
So, Bill, are we telling people it's okay not to go to math class now? Because if they don't want to, there's another alternative at 13 years old?
I'm saying you may not want to go to college and major in math. You may want to learn enough to be a great carpenter, a great graphic designer, to run computers.
But the age group that's targeted here is 16 to 24.
I understand.
Right, and so there's a gap of people that are not in college yet. So are we telling people that at 16 years old, if you don't like your history teacher, your math teacher, or the basic fundamentals, drop out, you can go into this program and you can be a barista?
You can become an apprentice, okay? And I love the German apprentice programs. I think, what they've done for machine tool workers, automobile workers, chemical workers, they've done a fantastic job with people. So not everyone wants to go on and get a BA or an MBA. They are trained to do something. We're lacking skilled craftspeople. We're lacking skilled employees. And that's the future. America is not at the low end. I realize that Starbucks and others are hiding at the low end. We need to get some people with skills, but they need to learn those skills. We need to train them.
And the stigma needs to be taken away from those who choose not to go to college and choose to do an apprenticeship instead. But we need to move on to the next topic, which is a Chinese firm preparing a $23 billion takeover of chip maker Micron. It would be the largest Chinese takeover of a U.S. firm. But of course, everyone now is, starting to say, well, what about national security concerns? What do you think, Bill? Will this pass the Committee on Foreign Investment?
Well, that's a big question. This is a big deal. This is not a trivial deal. And this may be the first of many. I remember back in the 60s with Texas Instruments, the leading semiconductor company, licensed all their technology to the Japanese, and we saw that coming back into the U.S. in the 70s and 80s. So national security is a big concern, and I think IP, intellectual property. We've got to have a two-way street with the Chinese. I don't want to say Chinese companies can't buy here, because then American companies aren't going to be allowed to buy in China. But I do think we have to pass certain tests about protection of intellectual property and national security.
Let's also pay the right price first.
Remember the hullabaloo. Well, who's paying the price? The Chinese are paying the price.
Well, but let's make sure that the price is right. I think Bill's point about the security issues are relevant. I want to talk about the Micron price first.
What, too low for you?
Yeah, it feels too low to me.
It was, what, a 15% premium?
$23 billion?
Yeah.
Over a stock that had dropped in half, though.
That's right.
And you got to look at where it was. It was up here, and now you've gone from here to here.
But remember the hubbub when, I believe it was a Chinese, no, it wasn't a Chinese company, was going to come in and buy the ports. And it went through CFIA. And it was a Chinese company?
No, it was a Middle Eastern company.
It was a Middle Eastern company.
Abu Dhabi or Dubai.
Dubai wanted to come in and buy the ports. This feels to me like an even more sensitive area of technology.
Why? Because it's storage, not processing. And so why is it as sensitive?
Well, this
chip making,
is the first step.
No, it's storage, not the processing, right?
Well, but that's the next step, Marcus. I mean, they have the technology. They're going to get it anyway.
Right.
So I just think we have to have a clear understanding of what they get and what they don't get, and what's going to be Yeah.
This is the last US-based DRAM maker, by the way. After this,
Yeah.
it's all gone. I mean, maybe China should be focusing on developing their own technology.
Oh, they will.
Oh, they are.
Sure they are.
They will. This is a
using
jump
our
start.
R&D.
And there's two regulatory bodies, right? Not only our regulatory body, but their regulatory body that wants to have something to say about this as well.
Right.
So I think that's a bigger issue.
A two-way street issue is a big issue.
Yeah, I think so. I like the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I think that's really important. But that's the way we negotiate these things. We've got to have a two-way understanding with China and all the Asian countries. And then we've got to pass these other tests. But
Okay. Bill and Marcus, thank you very much for your thoughts
Thank
on
you.
those topics. Of course, many more topics going to be thrown your way later on in the show.